I'm Bia, and welcome back to Cardiac Reader for Teens. For those of you who might not be familiar with Cardiac Reader for Teens, this is a place where teens come together with other teens to learn about Spiritist teachings and topics in a way that relates more to us as teenagers in today's society, and gets us a better understanding than we might get from just reading a book by ourselves or listening to adults lecture. For months now, we have been going through the Spirits book. It might even be almost a year. We've been going through the Spirits book together, reading it page by page, word by word, question by question, to make sure we understand it so that later on we can dive into these questions even deeper and learn even more about these topics. And right now it's just like an introduction. We're getting an introduction to all these topics so that we can continue to learn about them. So last week, we left off in the middle of a section that was talking about funerals and talking about how we commemorate the dead. So, like, when a loved one dies, let's say, like when someone in your family dies and we're still here in the corporeal earth, in the corporeal world, and we have a funeral, or there's certain practices of how to commemorate them, of how to, like, some cultures have traditions, and there's certain things certain types of people do to commemorate their loved ones after they die. So we were talking about this topic, and we were kind of in the middle of it. So if you did miss last week's, it's good to go back to it and catch up so that you get the full section. So we left off on question 322. Do forgotten spirits, whose graves are not visited by anyone, come despite that fact and feel troubled at not seeing any friends remembering them? So spirits who were forgotten, they're saying. So when no one visits their grave, do they go to their grave and do they feel sad because their friends aren't remembering them? And the spirits answered, what is the earth to them? They are only linked to it by the heart. If no one loves them no longer, there is nothing that can make the spirit feel connected to the earth. They have the whole universe before them. So what they're saying here is that once the spirit is in the spirit world again, there's nothing that's holding them to earth except for their heart, except for when they look back and think, oh wow, I love those people, even if it was just in one existence, or maybe it was in several existences. And they realize, like, oh wow, I really like those people, I miss them. So it's like their heart, those emotions, is the only thing keeping them to the earth. But forgotten spirits, who don't have these loved ones behind, there's no one that visits their grave. If they don't have this kind of love on earth, then there's nothing holding them there, because they don't have those loving emotions holding them there. So they're just kind of free, and they have the whole universe, and they're not really connected to the earth. Question 323. Does a visit made to its grave provide more satisfaction to a spirit than a prayer made on its behalf in someone's home? So they're saying, so what is better, to go to the person's grave and visit them, or just saying a prayer at home? And the spirits answered, a visit to its grave is a way of showing that one is thinking of the absent spirit. It is the exterritorialization of a thought. So it's like, that was a big word. So basically it's just saying, like, putting your thoughts into actions. You're doing a physical thing. You're going to the grave to show that you care about the person and you miss them. And the spirits answered, continuing on, they said, I have already told you that it is the prayer that blesses the act of remembering. The place itself is of little importance. It's the memory that comes from the heart. So what they're saying is that they already told us, right, that the prayer, that's the best part. Going to the grave shows, okay, you're showing it. You're showing that you did the action. You went to the place. But now, no matter where you are, praying is what keeps those memories alive. It shows them that you're remembering them, that you still love them. Question 324. Do the spirits of individuals who are to be honored with statues or monuments, attend the inauguration and watch them with pleasure? So spirits who are going to be honored, so someone very prestigious, like think about like when George Washington died. Of course, lots and lots of memorials were made for him and still are being made for him. So do they go to watch? Do they go and see, wow, this is for me? So what do they think about this? And the spirits answered, many watch them when they can, but they are less sensitive to the honors paid to them than the memories. So many of them, they think, okay, yeah, if they're commemorating me, I want to go see, I want to experience it too. So they do go and watch, but they're more attached to the memories and the feelings, not just watching a statue, not just that honor, but they really want people who have true memories of them and are really remembering them, not just a statue honoring them. Question 325. Where does the desire come from where certain persons wish to be buried in one place rather than another? Do they return to be with more satisfaction after death? And is the importance given to a physical thing a sign of a spirit's impure nature? So they're saying here, so there's a couple questions here. So first they're saying, some people, they like, let's say before they died, like in their will, they left, I want to be buried here or there. And they kind of set it out. So where does this come from? This desire to be in one place or in this place or a certain cemetery or to be cremated. There's so many different ways. So what does that have? Where does that come into play is what they're asking. And they're also asking is, do they feel happier when you actually follow through and when they're actually buried where they want to be? Does it matter to them at all? Or are they kind of indifferent? Or do they actually feel a lot better? And also they said, if they're giving in to such a physical thing, then that means that they're kind of impure, right? Because they're attached to this physical matter. So let's see what the spirits answered. A spirit's affection for certain places is a sign of moral impurities. So right there they said that, yeah, when a spirit wants to be in certain places, it shows that they're not perfect. They have impurities because they're still attached to physical things that we know in the spirit world isn't really going to matter. Then the spirits continue. What does one piece of earth represent more than another to an evolved spirit? Doesn't it know its soul will be reunited with its loved ones, even though their bones may be far apart? So what they're saying here is that some people, they want their families to be buried together. So every time another member dies, it's in the same cemetery or very close by to the others. But in the spirit world, the evolved spirits know that they're going to be reunited no matter where they are, no matter what countries they are in, continents they are buried in, they're all going to be reunited. So it is the less, or not very less evolved, but they still have impurities, those who are picking certain places to be buried. And then there's a second part to this question, and it says, should a gathering together the mortal remains of all the members of the family be considered meaningless? So they're saying that stuff that person has left behind, that they died. So gathering their little things that they left behind, should it be considered meaningless, all those little things that are left behind, those material little things? And the spirits answered, no. It is a pious custom and a witness to the sympathy of loved ones. So they're saying, no, it's not meaningless to save something. If someone passed away and you keep a necklace or you keep a pill or something that meant a lot to them, it's not bad, it's not meaningless. And they continued, if such gatherings mean little to spirits, they are nonetheless useful to humans. Their memories are better concentrated. So maybe even if keeping that doesn't help the person at all, maybe it helps the humans, to the people who are still in this corporeal existence. Maybe it helps them cope better with whatever they're going through, or maybe it becomes their good luck charm and they think it brings them luck, or Maybe it just keeps the memory of that person alive, and that's completely okay. Question 326. Is a soul that has returned to life as a spirit sensitive to the honors paid to its mortal remains? So, the soul that returned to life went back to the spirit world. Does this spirit have feeling towards the honors being paid to them on the corporeal world? Are they looking back and saying, are they emotional at all that like someone's keeping their necklace or their blanket or something like that to remember them by? And the spirits answered, when a spirit has already reached a certain degree of purification, it has no more earthly vanity, and it comprehends the fulfillity of all these things. Nevertheless, you should know that there are spirits who, in the first moments of death, take great satisfaction in the honors paid to them. Others become disturbed if they are seeing that their envelope is being forgotten, because they still hold on to some of the prejudices of the world. So some people, they're saying that once you're more involved, you know that this isn't really, none of it really matters, and they don't take it so personally. But for some spirits, in the first moments of death, seeing people honoring them and loving them and mourning over them, it makes them happy. They feel satisfied that, okay, I did something right because I had these people that cared about me. And then others, they said, they seem disturbed because they feel like they're being forgotten. Like these people are crying over them and they're going to be forgotten and that's it. So it really is a case-to-case basis depending on the spirit. Question 327. Do spirits ever watch their own burial? So do they watch themselves being buried? And the spirits answered, they frequently do, but sometimes they do not perceive what is happening if they are still in a state of confusion. So some spirits, and we know, like more evolved spirits, when after death, they kind of already, since they're more evolved, they're kind of used to this going to the spirit world transition. So in a few days, they'll be fine and they'll realize. But some spirits who are very stuck in this corporeal life and very materialistic, they're kind of stuck and they're confused because they can't think that they're anywhere except for the world. Or maybe if it was a sudden death and they don't think that dying was never really in their train of thought and it just happened. So for them, they're pretty confused and they're not realizing they might be there, but they don't really understand what's happening because they're still in that state of confusion. Then there's a second part to this question, and it says, do they feel flattered by a large gathering at their burial? So are they happy when a lot of people show up? And the spirits answered, more so or less so, according to the sentiment of the people gathered. So this is really important because it's not just about all the people there, but how those people are feeling. Maybe someone was really popular and knew everyone, but those people, they're not praying, they're not thinking good thoughts, they're just kind of there. But if there's a few people that really love them, that counts more to them than lots of people. But of course, if it's lots of people that really love them, then they will feel flattered, they'll feel happy. Question 328. Does the spirit attend the meetings of its heirs? So the heir in this case, which in a lot of cases we think of heir as like if a king dies, like the heir to the throne, like the prince. But an heir is just like for a king, but just for anyone. If you die, then who's gonna take over? And for a lot of people, that's rather their spouse or their kids or some sort of family. So their heir is the people who are going to take over their stuff and kind of be given all the stuff that is left behind by this person. So does the spirit attend the meetings of its heirs, of the people who are going to like kind of take over all of their stuff? And the spirits answered, almost always. God wills it for its instruction and as punishment for guilty ones. It is there that the spirits judge what its heirs' declarations of affections are really worth. All sentiments become patent to the spirit, and the disappointment it feels in seeing the greed of those who divide up the spoils make their true sentiments very clear. However, their time shall also come. So for one thing, this makes the spirits see who these people truly are, who these people they left truly are. Like, if they left it amongst their kids, or they left it amongst a group of people. And this group of people, you see who's greedy and who's trying to take everything and who's not sharing or who's not getting anything. And you see the different things. So you can see what's happening kind of from an outside point of view of who these people really are. Question 329. Is the instinctive respect of people for the dead in all times and among all cultures the result of an intuition of a future existence? So they said, so the respect for people who have died all the time, like since history on this earth, like we know it as of right now, that we've always seen of people honoring their dead, like in ancient Egypt, they mummified them so that the spirit could come back to that same body. And there was many other beliefs, but we've always honored the dead. So is this an intuition that we know that there's something more? Like for that, they thought the spirit was going to come into the same body, so they preserved the body. But so there's many beliefs, but is it going to this belief of a future existence? And the spirits answered, it is its natural consequence. Without it, such respect would have no meaning. So yeah, that's basically why people honor their dead, because people believe that there's something more. Whether it's ancient Egypt and you think these people are coming back, or whether you think they're going to heaven and hell, you think of most people think of something more. That's like they said, the natural consequence. So without it, why would we care? If they're dead, then they're just poof out of existence. So it wouldn't matter. But every religion, every culture, most, we should say, have this feeling, have this intuition that there is something more. So now that we've talked about disincarnating and going from the corporeal world to the spirit world, now we're going to talk about returning back to the corporeal life, to try again, to fix our errors that we made and our mistakes. So this is going into chapter 7 of part 2. So we'll start the first few questions in the section. And this part in the chapter is called Preludes to the Return. So they're talking about before the return, but not a lot before the return, just right before. So, question 330. Do spirits know the time when they will have to reincarnate? So do they know when they're going to reincarnate? And the spirits answered, they can sense it like a blind man who feels the fire he is approaching. They know they must return to a body, just as you know you must die someday, but without knowing when it will happen. So they know it's going to happen, and they know it has to happen, just like we know we're going to have to die and we're going to go to the spirit world. But they don't know when, just like we don't know when we're going to die. And then there's a second part to this question, and it says, is reincarnation, therefore, a necessity of spirit life, as death is a necessity to corporeal life? So is it necessary? Just like we know, everyone needs to die. No one's going to live for eternity in the corporeal life. So everyone has to die. It's a necessity. So is reincarnation a necessity in the spirit world? And the spirits simply answered, yes it is. Question 331. Do all spirits concern themselves with their approaching reincarnation? So do spirits get concerned when they're thinking, oh my god, just like when people are getting close to the age of dying and they're concerning themselves, oh my god, I'm going to die, what's going to happen when I die? But do people do that with reincarnation? Do they think, oh my god, I had to reincarnate, how's it going to be? And they start worrying. Are they concerned? And the spirits answered, there are those who never give a thought, who do not even comprehend it. It depends on the degree of what their advancement is. For some, uncertainty about their future life is a punishment. So, like we said a million times already, it's about how evolved the spirits are, because if they're less evolved, they don't even understand reincarnation. So they're kind of not even paying attention. They don't even realize what's going to happen. They don't really think about it. But also for some, it might be not knowing might be a punishment for them, because maybe in one life, when they were about to reincarnate, they picked, I want this, this, and this. And then maybe they messed it all up. So now, okay, now we're going to pick for you, and you're not going to really know exactly what's going to happen. Question 332. Can spirits hasten or delay the moment of their reincarnation? So can they delay their reincarnation, push it back so they don't have to go yet? Or can they make it faster? I want to reincarnate right now. And the spirits answered, they may hasten it through strong desire. They may also delay it if they recoil from the upcoming trial, since among spirits there are cowardly and indifferent ones. However, they do not delay it with impunity. They will suffer for it, like those who refuse the medicine that restores them to health. So, if they they're like, I need to go right now, I'm so ready, they may hasten it. They may hurry up, and they may go a little earlier. And they might be able to delay it for a little bit. But because some are cowardly, they're scared. They'll say, oh no, I'm going to go again, and I'm going to mess up, and they're scared. But like they said, is that the more they wait, the more they're going to suffer, because it's like they're saying, if you don't take the medicine, you're not going to get better. So they need to reincarnate to start getting better. That's their medicine for them. So they can't delay it forever, because they're just going to be feeling bad until they actually do it. Question 333. If a spirit feels quite happy in an average situation among disincarnated spirits and has no ambition to evolve, could it prolong its errant state indefinitely? So, if the spirit is they're like, okay, I don't mind staying here and I'm in a good situation, not perfect, but average, and I'm fine, and I don't mind just staying here. Can they just stay there forever, indefinitely? And the spirit said, no, not indefinitely, so you won't be there forever. Advancement is a necessity, and spirits sense it sooner or later. All must evolve. It is in their destiny. So, they can stay there for a while, they can prolong it for a while, but eventually they are going to have to get back on track and back on evolving, because you can't just stay in the same spot forever. So that's where we'll leave off today, but before we leave off, of course, I'd like to read our message from the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone for today's date, July 18th. Charm. A beauty is a woman you notice. A charmer is one who notices you. We admire the life of the party, the person who attracts others to his or her wit and wisdom. We envy the looker, the person who attracts others with his beauty or her beauty and physical attributions. But the people we really want to be around are the ones who show an interest in us. When they ask about our likes and dislikes, laugh at our jokes, compliment our appearances, we feel good about them and ourselves. I won't worry about whether I'm having a good time at an event. I'll see what I can do to help others enjoy themselves. I'm Bia. Thank you all for listening. This has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening.